Let's make Buddy the Elf cake pops. I'm crumbling up my vanilla cake until it's a fine grainy texture, adding vanilla American buttercream and sprinkles by Neon Yolk Shop. For the first design, I'm making Buddy's head, so I roll that cake pop nice and round. And for the second design, I'm making his hat. I roll my cake pop round, then press one end into a cone shape and the other end nice and flat, then chill the cake pops for 1 hour. I have these Dinky Dipper ice cream cones. You can find them on Amazon, taking a serrated knife and trimming off just the end. I cut a few more cones. Now time to make the decorations for the hats. I roll out some yellow fondant, cutting some wider and thinner strips for the yellow band around his hat. Then I take my red fondant, shaping it into a feather, and using my fondant tool to press a little line in the center, I make some larger ones and some smaller ones. When the cake balls are chilled, it's time to begin dipping in the melting chocolate, dipping a lollipop stick and pressing it gently into the cake ball. Now dipping the cake pop, and don't forget to tap, 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 twirl, tap, tap. Before the chocolate hardens, I press the cone down on top and then set it aside to dry. For the second design, I have some green melting chocolate, dipping my lollipop stick and pressing it into the cone-shaped cake pop. Then I dip that one as well and tap it very gently and set that one aside to dry. Taking my leftover green melting chocolate, I pour that down into a thin, tall glass, and very carefully I dip the ice cream cone on the first cake pop down into the melting chocolate. Using some edible glue, I stick on the thinner yellow strip of fondant, pressing it into place. Then I take the smaller red feather, dip it in the melting chocolate, and press it right above the yellow stripe. Placing a Ziploc in a glass so that I can pour in some brown melting chocolate, then I take my scissors and cut off just the end of the bag. Using what I like to call my squiggly technique to add Buddy's hair onto the cake pop, and he's looking pretty good. But of course, we need to add the eyes. I'm using white poppy paint, first painting on a little background for each eye. When that dries, I add some blue to the white paint, mix that together to get a light blue, and then I paint on the iris parts of his eyes. Using black melting chocolate, I dot the eyes, add a cute smile, and of course he needs a little glisten in his eyes. And if this seems a little too complicated and you want something simpler, let's go back to design number 2, the green hats. Sticking on the yellow band, then I dip the red feather into the melting chocolate and press it right on the cake pop. Here's design number 1 and design number 2, and in part 2 we'll make Buddy's famous spaghetti and the Arctic puffin. Follow for more.